So in yesterday class, already we had a discussion about complete front-end concepts we covered, right? Now today we are going to focus on here the backend. So what is meant by backend, and so how we are going to work with that in real-time scenario. Now we are going to discuss step by step here. So backend in a sense, here we are going to implement complete functionality. We are going to implement complete functionality how to apply here. That means you are going to implement complete logics here, and we are going to interact with the DB, nothing but database. Here we are going to connect with the database, and we are going to perform the operations. Which kind of operations we are performing? You can perform here CRUD operations. What is meant by CRUD? So CRUD stands for create, read, update, delete. So you can just observe here, create, read, update, and delete. If you are taking any application, so compulsory we are using CRUD operation. If you are considering, for example, FB, like in the Facebook, we are going to create the account. Okay, our account we are going to create, and we can read our account information. If I'm going to click on view profile, automatically we will get our profile pic along with the profile name, and at the same time phone number, everything you will get here. So that means here we are reading that information, and in case if you want to update your details, you can just go with here, read it, and you can update. In case in future, if I want to delete my profile, I can just delete also, right? So that means if you are creating any application in the real-time scenario, that application compulsory you are going to perform the CRUD operation. So by using backend, directly you are unable to perform the CRUD operation. We have to use here DB, nothing but database. So in the backend completely, we are going to write here server side. We are going to write the server side scripting. So in yesterday class, already we had a discussion about JavaScript, right? By using JavaScript, we can perform only client side. What is meant by client side? In browser end. In browser end, whatever you are performing, that is called client side. If you are observing, here we have the validations. Already I showed in the yesterday class only. If you are observing, where we are performing this validation? In the browser. If you are performing this validation in the browser, we can call it as a client side. But if you are using like a backend, so by using backend, we are going to perform completely. So the CRUD operation in server side here. What is meant by server side? Server side in the sense you are going to interact with a database every time. So consider one real-time example like a Gmail. If you are considering the real-time example like a Gmail, in the Gmail, if you are creating any account, so what we are going to do, you are going to enter like a name and email ID and a username and the same password, confirm password, phone number, everything you are entering, right? After entering all the details, you are going to click on the create account button. You are going to click on the button. If you are click on the button, automatically the data, whatever you enter the data, it will be stored into the Gmail DB, nothing but Gmail database. The entire information, it is stored into the Gmail database, and if I want to try to log in, automatically it is connected to the backend. So from the backend to it will find the database. Understood, right? So if I'm trying to log in, so you can observe here. For example, I'm going to open here Gmail here. I'm going to open my Gmail here. Here we have the option called sign in. If I'm going to click on the sign in, here I'm going to enter my email ID. This is my email ID. If I'm entering like this, and I'm going to click on next here. If I'm entering here the email ID, and if I click on the next, what happened here? Could not find your Google account. It is showing here, could not find your Google account. So how it is identified whether this is valid or invalid? So how it is identified? If I click on the button, actually internal process I'm explaining. If I click on the button, what happened in the sense, automatically from the front end, you are creating the form, right? So that form how to create? By using HTML. So from this form to, we have the connectivity to the backend programming. So from this backend to, we have the connection to the DB. Like this, we have internal process. So if I click on the submit button, From the form to it will move to the backend, and in the backend already we have the connection to the DB. In the DB we have the table here. We have some table. In that table it is checking so and so email ID is there or not. It is checking so and so email ID is there or not. If it is there, so it will go with the next page. If it is not there, it will display here could not find Google account. Now I am going to enter here, for example, valid account only. If I'm going to click on the next, so what happened? It is asking like a password. That means the first case is successfully completed. Actually, this Gmail ID already it is finding in the Gmail database. After that, I'm entering here password. If I'm entering password, I'm click on here next button. What happened? Wrong password. Try again or click to forgot. You will get like a reset option here. So that means what happened? If I'm entering some password and if I'm click on the next button, again it is checking in the database. Now it is checking so and so user ID is already available. For this user ID, so here the user is entered so and so password. This password is matched with the Gmail DB or not, it is checking here. So already the user is available. Again, it is not checking the user. Based on this user, for this user, so what is the password? It is checking. If I'm going to enter here, for example, so valid password, if I'm going to click on the next button, directly I will get here inbox page here. That means what happened? It is checking so directly the database here. If I'm click on the submit button, so what happened? It is moved to the backend programming. From the backend only, we have the connectivity to the DB. In that DB already we have the table. In the table it is checking so and so user and so and so password is available or not. It is checking. So this is the way we have to perform the backend operation. So here we have to understand one more important point, that backend code is always it is in the hidden format. Backend code always it is in the hidden format only we have here. So the front end code, if you want to see also, we can see that. For example, see here, I'm going to open the real-time example. I'm opening here the engineering college website. So this is front end, right? So if I'm giving this URL, you can open in your system also. It will automatically open that one and you will get the things here. If I want to see the source, how to see the source? So just you have to go with a right click and here we have view page source. Right click and view page source. Now you are getting here complete page source here. Otherwise, you can also use the shortcut here to see the code Ctrl+U. You can go with here Ctrl+U. If I am using Ctrl+U, again you are getting here the page source. This is front end. So what about backend functionality? The backend functionality completely it is hidden format only. Now you can observe. So here it is asking some username and password. If I'm entering like username and password, what happened? You can observe here. It is showing invalid login and password. How it is know? Actually, while creation of this website, already I given some username and password. With the help of this username and password, client can directly log in here. And see, now we are going to post some latest news. If you are observing in the website, already we have some news here. You can observe. So we have here some latest news which is scrolling here. In case if I want to add another one, in the backend, so I'm going to post the data. For example, hello BIET, where we are typing inside the form. So this form is HTML only. If I am click on the button, what happened in the sense, internally it is connected with the backend. This is front end. But internally what happened? It is connected to the backend. Always that backend is completely connected to the DB. Nothing but if I'm going to post here, if I'm going to click on this one, automatically, so it will store into the database. So whether it is stored or not, we have to check. How to check that one? Already we displayed here latest news, right? Now you can just reload it, whether you are getting that latest news or not, you can observe. So we posted in the backend. That news we are able to access in the front end. So this is about how to work with backend applications. Actually, you have to understand very simple one. So backend functionality, entire thing should be hidden format. Only developer can see the code. As a visitor, if you want to see the front end code, you can see the front end code, but you are unable to see the backend functionality. Why? Because the backend is completely like a secure. It is 100% secure. So what about front end? Front end also secure only, but when compared to front end, 100% backend we are going to provide so full-fledged securities. Why? Because internally we are using some algorithms also. So in the backend, so here you can observe every time what happened, we are going to interact with the DB. So if I'm going to create any record, if I'm going to create some latest news, if I'm going to post some latest news, what happened? So it is directly moved to the from front end to it is moved to the front end to back end. So and in the back end already we have the connectivity to the DB, and in the DB it will be stored here. So this is complete the backend functionality we are going to. If you are build any application also, we have to follow the MVC architecture. MVC architecture, model view controller. So we can call it as a model view controller. I will show you with example diagram so that you will get the clarity. So as a visitor, forget about developer. As a visitor, always we are seeing only the front end. This is your desktop or laptop or mobile. So this is front end, right? Nothing but here it is a completely view layer. Whatever you are seeing, that is view layer only here. So here, if you are click on the submit button, or if you are creating the login button, whatever you are creating, if I'm click on the button, what happened in the sense, it is directly connected with the backend. Automatically from the front end to we have here connectivity to the backend. So this is called controller. We can call it as a controller. So and from this backend to we have the connectivity to the DB, nothing but database here. So this is our model. We have to go with here model. This is MVC architecture. So MVC nothing but model view controller. So view is nothing but whatever you are seeing, that is called view. Yesterday we discussed about view part only, like a front end, right? This is completely like a front end part only. So what about controller? So actually here you have to write the complete backend implementations. You can write inside the controller only. So this controller, it will control both the front end as well as DB. This is the DB and this is like a front end. We have here a front end also, right? So this front end and this DB, so both are controlled by the backend programming only. So you are unable to contact directly here. You are unable to contact, you are unable to contact directly from the front end to backend. It is not, from the front end to DB, it is not possible. Always you have to establish a connection from the front end to backend, from the backend to DB. If I'm giving some button here, if I'm going to click on the submit button, so whether this user is available or not, what happened if I'm click on the button, it will go with the backend. In the backend, it is already we are writing some code here. The code is how to connect with the database. Here I'm writing the some code. That code is for connection for this DB. Now it will directly go with the connection here. And after checking this one, so and so record is available or not, it is checking. If it is there or if it is not there also, you will get some response from the DB to backend and backend to front end. Here it will shows so and so user is available or it is showing invalid username and password. This entire thing we are getting less than 1 minute only. We are getting immediate action, but internal process should be this much of thing we have here. So whatever you are doing in the front end, actually it is always connected with the back end. So that back end always connect with the DB. It is performing like this here. If you are checking any application, Amazon, if you are purchasing any product also, what happened? So you will get in the product details completely in my orders, right? For example, now I'm going to open here like directly Amazon website. In Amazon website, here we have the sign in option. I'm going to enter my mobile number here directly. I'm going to enter here. If I'm click on that one, it is asking like a password. So now I'm going to enter here like a password. Username is correct. So what about password? So it is checking. So now it is okay, but still it is doing some verification. So what it is asking? It is asking like a OTP, one-time password. It is already sent to the mobile. It is asking here. Now I'm going to enter here the OTP here. So after entering this OTP, so what happened? You can observe. Now you are able to enter into our website and see here. It is showing here my username also, and in this orders or returns, you can just go with this one. If I'm click on this one, so you can observe here. So you are getting here orders. And at the same time, if you want to purchase again, you can purchase here. So, and if you want to see the main account details also, you can just go with here. See, here we have like a your order, and at the same time your address, as well as you are getting here all the information also. And if you want to edit your profile also, you can able to edit here. Now see here, it is showing here my previous order along with so the entire information also it is showing here, right? So you can just go with these kind of things. How they are getting my order details? Actually, if I am purchasing any product also, automatically it will store into their DB database. That is the reason it is showing here. So my entire information here. If I want to log out also, I can go with here sign out, which is automatically sign out here. So these kind of things we are going to check in the backend application. For example, now I'm going to book some bus ticket. I can go with here, for example, Red Bus. So now I'm going to open here. See here, it is showing some data already, some location to location it is showing. Why? Because so how they're getting already my details in the sense, actually I'm in login. That is the reason it is showing my previous history. Now same website I'm going to open in incognito. You can observe here. Now I'm going to open here redbus.in, or directly you can search like a Redbus only. Now you are getting here Redbus. So now what happened? You can observe. You are not getting any information here. That means, so here we implemented already cookie storage also. These kind of storages also we can easily build with the help of backend here. So just you can understood what is meant by backend. So complete functionalities, complete logics we are going to build in the backend only. In the real-time scenario, you can observe. Already I showed this engineering college website. Here, my client requirement is they want to post the latest news. Now we posted. If I want to delete or edit also, I can just go with that one. And in the bottom, you can observe. If I want to delete also, I can able to delete directly. Now again, I'm going to reload here. If I'm going to reload, now what happened? You can observe. Now there is no BIET here. Hello BIET. We don't have. Why? Because already we deleted here. So in future, so if my client asks, they want to add some events also. If they want to add some events also, again, they are not going to depend upon developer. So why? Because in the admin panel only, we have here event categories as well as events. So if they are conducting any event, cultural fest they conducted. So what they're going to do, they can just go with the events and they can post here. So what is the category? For example, fest. So here you can go with the what is the fest name. You can select here fest name. And after that, you have to go with here directly. So whatever the title, for example, 2023, so annual day, I can write here the title. And for that, whatever the images you have, you can upload directly here. So without depends upon the developer, directly they can able to do the changes. That is called backend. What is meant by backend? Backend is nothing but completely server-side scripting. If I want to work with this kind of server-side scripting, so what are the programming languages you require? So here in the backend, we have a number of options. In the front end, we don't have that many options. So you can follow only HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, jQuery, and at the same time, like web hostings along with the React or Angular, you can choose. So what about backend? If I want to build the backend logics, either I can select like a PHP, or either I can select like a Python. So, or either I can select like a Node.js, or I can go with the Java, or I can also use here .NET. you can use different programming languages to build the backend. So front end part is absolutely, so whatever we discussed yesterday, that is mandatory. But in the backend, we have multiple options. So now you can observe here. If I'm going to choose my career as a PHP developer, now I'm going to learn the PHP to build the backend application. In case if I'm going to start my career as a Python developer, so or Python full stack developer, I can just go with a Python only like a backend. So in case if your profile should be like a MERN full stack. So in case if you want to go with a MERN full stack, now you can observe here, you have to go with a Node.js. So here you have to observe here the definition of MERN. So MERN stands for MongoDB and Express.js, React and Node. So yesterday we completed this part. React in the sense of not only React. So from the front end, HTML, CSS up to React. So yesterday we covered this concept, right? So this R should be finished here. But what about remaining things? So here you can observe. We have here N. N stands for Node.js. So N stands for Node.js. With the help of Node.js, you are going to create the APIs. You are going to create the APIs. What is meant by API? API is nothing but application programming interface. API stands for application programming interface. It will contain some data. It will hold the information. So whatever the DB database contains the data it will be stored into the APIs. So forget about more about APIs. We'll discuss once we are entering to the course. Just you can in this level you can just understood API contains data. That data from where we are getting from the DB. API contains data. That data we are getting from the DB. So if I want to create this API, I have to use the Node.js. With the help of Node.js, you can build the APIs. But here it is completely difficult task to build the API with the help of Node.js. So that is the reason they introduce here one framework called Express.js. So now here E stands for here Express.js. So this is completely framework of Node.js. With the help of Node.js, if I want to create API, 100% it is very difficult task. So that is the reason we are using here the framework. If I want to learn this framework, at least I have to know the basic concepts of Node. So first we have to learn the Node.js, then we can go with the Express.js. What is Express.js? Express.js is a framework. With the help of Express.js, we can easily create the backend APIs. What is meant by API? API contains data. That data we are getting from the database. Understood, right? So here we are using like a DB, right? So database. So in the real-time scenario, we have two types of databases. One is SQL databases and second one is NoSQL databases. So here M stands for MongoDB. That MongoDB type is NoSQL. What is meant by SQL? SQL is nothing but structured query language. It is like a structured query language. Here each and everything we can follow the structured way. If you are storing any data also, that data should be stored into the tabular format. So first we have to go with the headings here, serial number, name and address. Then you can go with one row and you can store the information. You can go with another row and you can go with another row. Like that, the information is completely saved in the tabular format. That is the reason we can call it as a SQL, structured query language. And what about NoSQL? That NoSQL also we have the data, but the data is completely like so without SQL format. Now we can observe actually it is JSON format. It is similar to object. Now we can observe ID colon 101 and you have to go with here name colon. We can just go with here, for example, Rajesh, and you have to go with here, for example, address colon. You have to apply here like this. So if you are observing here, so there is no tabular format, but here, so 101, then Rajesh, then address. So then 201 and so on so name, so on so address. Here we have complete structured way, but if I'm using like so MongoDB, we have here completely unstructured format. There is no proper structure here. That is the reason. So here it is completely NoSQL. So MongoDB, what is meant by MongoDB? MongoDB is a database, but it is not SQL databases. It is completely NoSQL database here. That means there is no proper structure. It is always like a JSON format. It is always like a JSON format. So how to store the data and how to create the databases, everything I will show you in our real-time classes. Whenever we are starting like a node. So if I want to learn the node, you can just observe here. So JavaScript is mandatory. If you know the JavaScript, then only you are able to understand the Node.js. If I want to create the API, I'm going to use the Express.js. If I want to use the Express.js, first I have to know the basic idea about Node.js. If I know that one, I can easily implement like Express.js. From this Express.js, we are going to connect it to the MongoDB. There we are going to perform the CRUD operation. So this is complete MERN full stack development. If you are choosing like so Node, Express.js, MongoDB, then your profile should be like a MERN full stack. So instead of this React, yesterday I said Angular also, right? So if you are choosing like Angular, now your profile should be like a MERN full stack. So it is MERN full stack. So if you are observing here, in place of React, we are using here so Angular. So, but remaining Node, Express.js, MongoDB, everything is common. If you are choosing like Angular, your profile and your designation should be like a MERN full stack. In case if you are choosing like a React, your designation should be MERN full stack. In case if I'm going to choose like a PHP, so now your designation is PHP full stack developer. And if you are choosing like a Python, so at that time your designation should be like a Python full stack developer or Java full stack developer or .NET full stack developer. So in full stacks, these many things are there. That is the reason yesterday we started with the full stack only. So in full stack, we have front end and back end. Yesterday we covered the front end. Now today I explained briefly about the back end. So in the back end, if you are using PHP or if you are using like a Python or if you are using like a Node or if you are using like a Java or .NET, you can use any backend programming languages. There is no matter, but each and every backend programming language, 100%, it is connected with a DB database mandatory. If it is not connected to the DB, that is not a dynamic application. That is not a web application. It is just normal front end only. It is static website only. So in the backend, always, if you said anything as a backend, so you can use any programming also, but that programming 100% we are going to establish the connection to the DB, that is mandatory. Here we are going to maintain all the information. You can store the data, you can retrieve the data, and you can delete the data, and you can edit also. So 100% if you are creating any web application or if you are like a full stack developer, 100% you have to go with a CRUD operation. So you can create and you can read it and you can update and you can delete. So as a front-end developer also you can do, but you have to know the coding. See, as a visitor or as a user, you can just observe. So we are using like a Amazon application. So we are doing a number of changes in that one. So, but we didn't write any code for that, right? That means they're creating some admin panel. Through the admin panel, you can log in and you can create the account and you can read our like a previous orders. And if you want to update any quantity, for example, I purchased one product. So before delivery only, I can just increment my quantity also. That means I can update. In future, I can update my address also. In future, I can add so another shipping address also I can apply. So these kind of things we can apply here. So that is for update here. Then finally, we can go with the delete here. So this is about complete backend functionalities you have to understand. So simply in the mind, you can just fix one thing. Backend is nothing but a complete functionalities. Here we are not going to implement the basic part. We have to implement a complete functionalities. You have to write all the logics. That backend is always interact with the DB. That is mandatory. Without establishing the connection to the DB, you are unable to store the data. Simple example I will show you. You can observe. Now I am going to start some business like education website. For example, consider Elearn Infotech. So here you are getting here different kind of courses you are getting. For example, now I am going to join your development course. I can search here your development course in Hyderabad. If I'm searching like this, so we are getting here ads here. So below that ads only, we are getting here our website. So now I'm going to open, as a visitor, I'm opening this website. So after opening this one, now I want to fill the data here. If I'm going to fill here my data, for example, I can just enter here my details here. After entering my details here, so after entering this details here, what happened you can observe here. If I'm going to click on the submit button, what happened? So actually, I want to get this information. It is showing some alert. Please wait. Mail is sending, it is showing. So actually, as a visitor, you fill the form, okay? But as a website admin, what I'm required, I want your data, your information I required. So this information you are going to store into the database, or you are going to send to the mail also. If I'm going to send to my mail here, so what happened? So that mail data, maybe in future I'm going to delete also. After 5 days, after 10 days, I'm going to delete so that mail. If I'm going to delete the mail, what happened? I'm going to lose the data. In case, instead of that mail option, if I'm going to connect with my database, so at the time, what happened? I will get almost 8 years data completely. Like nearly, I will get like 25,000 students data I will get here. So we have to maintain these kind of situations. Now we'll check here. So I'm going to open my Gmail ID here, whether I'm getting that mail or not. Will show you, you can observe. So actually this is webmail. Now you have to just wait up to 2 to 3 minutes. Why? Because it is not a Gmail, it is a webmail connectivity. You have to wait. Once you wait, you will get the acknowledgement directly. Here we got already acknowledgement, but as an admin, I'm going to receive that information after some time gap only. Why? Because that is a Gmail, not a Gmail, that is a webmail. Here you have to wait and you can check it. So for example, I'm getting the mail ID. So and so everything I'm getting here. After getting that information, what I'm trying to do, just I'm going to pass to my counselors. So they are going to call and they will explain about the complete course structure, everything they are going to explain. Then you can decide whether you are going to join or not. Now you can observe. Here you can observe whether we are getting our data or not. You can observe we are getting. So here you can observe. Here it is moved to the some of the cases spam folder. And some of the cases, what happened in the sense, maybe by mistake, I'm going to delete that mail also. Instead of doing the mail concept, if I'm going to maintain like this, see here, if I'm going to click on this one, so previously, whatever you posted, that latest news I'm getting here. That means here we are getting from the database. So these records are permanent. So, but here what happened, maybe we are going to delete the mails also. At the time, you are not going to get again that data. So here always we have to observe one important point. The front end, you can just to see the code and it is completely like unsecure. And for simple application purpose, like I want some Elearn Infotech kind of thing. Or yesterday I showed like a few examples, right? Few websites. So if I want that kind of websites, I can just go with the front end only. But if I want to build application, website is different and application is different. So application in the sense both front end and back end. So if you want to build any application like e-commerce websites or Facebook, Amazon, Flipkart, or if you are considering like so complete ERPs, and at the same time, if you are considering billing systems, these kind of things completely you require one backend programming language. So you can choose anything based on your comfortable. You can choose any programming language in the backend. So most probably, so here we are going to prefer MERN. Why we are preferring MERN? So here again we have the reason. Blindly we are not going to pick the MERN here. So why we are so we are taking here MERN in the sense already we are using JavaScript and we have advanced level ECMAScript and we are focusing on already React.js. You can observe here already still we are into React.js only. Here we are using JavaScript and here also we are using JavaScript and here also we are using JavaScript. That is the reason again you can go with the Node.js. So if you are using like a backend as a Node.js, so again this is completely based on the JS only, JavaScript only. So you have to use a JavaScript. For this, again, you have very simple framework that is called Express.js. So from the front end onwards, we are learning the JS only. Already we have full command in the JS. If you are moved to the Node, again that is a JavaScript based only. You can easily understand the concept and you can easily build the application. Any complicated application you can build. And for the storing purpose, we are going to take here MongoDB. With the help of MongoDB, we are going to store our information. So that is the reason nowadays all are preferring like one full stack only. Currently, if you are working as a web designer, you are going to choose like a MERN only. Why? Because already you are working in the JS. For example, currently you are working with a UI developer. UI developer in the sense already you know the skills. If I'm adding additional JS skills here, again my profile should be like a completely full stack developer only. So nowadays, so the packages and at the same time job wise also everything is completely for full stack developers only. Why? Because for example, in olden days, what happened in the sense, like almost 4 years back, the situation I'm explaining. So for the front end, we have separate developer. For example, for front end developer company, they are paying like a 25K, for example. So, and they're going to hire one more person like a backend developer. They're going to pay like a 35K, and always 100% the salary should be differentiated like this only. So here they're hiring one front-end developer, the salary should be like a 25K, and so the back-end developer, the salary should be 35K. So previously they're hiring based on this kind of things only. But nowadays what happened in the sense, they're going to hire one full stack developer and they're going to give the salary also like for example 45 to 50K. They're going to offer 45 to 50K. What happened? So here in the company situation, the salary is saved. That is one point. Actually, if you are working in the startup company, they are going to think about the salary only. But for MNCs, they're not going to take like a 10,000 or 15,000. So they're not going to think about a 10 or 20,000. They're ready to pay like 1 lakh also, right? So what they're going to think actually, if I'm going to make it as like if I'm going to hire like a front-end developer, he's unable to do the backend. If I'm getting 2 projects at a time, so I want to work in one project front end and another project back end, dual role I have to play. So that is the reason nowadays they are not going to hire like an individual one. So they are going to hire here completely full stack developers. Here also you will get the jobs. So I'm explaining both the things. Here also you will get the job, and in this also you will get the job. But huge demand always so for full stack developers only. So salary wise, you will get good packages, and career wise also. For example, if we have like multiple skills, so if in case, so for example, me consider me only. So my designation as a full stack developer only, right? So that means I'm not going to work the project complete from the scratch to end. I'm not going to work with the complete project from the scratch to end. So we have the team. Like in my team, I have like a total 10 plus members are there. They're going to work in different modules. Some of the person they're going to do the front end, and some of the person they're going to write the back end logics, and some of the person they're going to work with the database activities. That means if you are a designation as a full stack developer, you are not going to fulfill that complete application here. Either you are going to work in that particular project, front end or back end. So for example, some of the cases, the backend developer is not available. Some critical situation is happening at the time. In case if you are a full stack developer, so you will get the chance to do both activities also. So just think about this one. So only like if you know the web designing skills also, you will get the job. There is no problem in that. But here what I'm saying is, so if you have like multiple skills, there is more opportunities. So, but one more important point you have to observe here, additional modules also you have to see. Don't think about the packages. So skills also you can observe here. So as a web designer, we have to learn the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery and Bootstrap. And at the same time, web hostings also. If you learn this one, your designation as a web designer, right? For this only, if I'm adding here React.js, so now our profile is UI developer or front-end developer. Based on this also, you will get good packages. And here, what I'm saying in the sense, if you know the backend, additionally, you will get more packages. And at the same time, so in case, for example, the front end situation is not so perfect in this one. So at that time, you have to go with the back end. So in the real time, every time, so always the backend contains complete, so like what we can say, complete demand is there. Okay. So in the, if you know the backend, any backend, Python or PHP or Node, or you can go with the .NET or Java. So complete as a backend developer. So you will get the good packages, and at the same time, so you will get here, so like easily job also. But think about this complete structure in backend. I said already why you are choosing MERN, all these things. Just you can go with that. So this is a complete overview of our full stack development. So in this full stack, so you can go with a PHP, or you can go with a Node, or you can go with a Java, or you can go with a .NET also. But so just to go with the JS only. Why? Because in future also, almost 10 to 50 years, only JS it will be in the top position. So that is the reason you can just go with the so MERN only. Yesterday I already said like we have to go with the projects also once the course is completed. So by using only the front end, you are going to go with the, so here 3 projects. So here I'm not going to give any code. I'm not going to do any copy paste things here. So here first project I'm going to work with from scratch to end, from the starting point to ending point. I'm going to write each and every line, and I'm going to explain, and I will show you how to launch also. The first project completely I'm going to do here. What about remaining 2 projects? These 2 projects I'm going to give you just a requirement. If you are working in company, so the client, they are going to say their requirement. So otherwise, like in the companies, project manager, they are going to explain the client requirement. That kind of requirement I'm going to give you in these 2 projects. You have to go with your own. Okay. So in case if you are facing any difficulty in that project, I will help you on that projects also 100% without doubt. Okay. And so once we are entering to the React, so again, we have to go with the 2 more projects here. So that 2 single page applications only. One is for a complete, so the static website, which is a single page application, and second one is dynamic application, like a complete admin dashboard activities we are going to perform. So what about backend? So here again, we are going to work with one more project. You have to create the front end as well as backend, and we have to go with the API creation also. I will show you the real-time API. So based on the API, we are going to perform the complete real-time cloud operation. This is completely real-time cloud operation. This is complete projects also. See, in outside, like in some of the issues, they are sending the code, but we are not sending the code. Everything, each and everything, I will show you first a real-time example. After that, I will give you the project requirement. So you have to go with the project requirement, and you can start that one. Wherever you start, just let me know. I will clarify that one also. And after this one, I will share you the resume preparation. And at the same time, so in interview questions also, I will share you, and soft copy material. Every day, you will get the Google Drive link also. So once the classes are started, for example, so we are going to create this kind of so drive here based on your batch timings. I'm going to create, and we are going to upload here by class wise here. From the demo onwards, you will get here all the class videos. These videos also like a lifetime access we have. You can just go with all the videos as a backup classes, and wherever you start, you can just revise it. And soft copy material also will provide you. And once the course is completed, complete projects, everything, I will give you one job calendar. See, after completion of the course, you are unable to get the job. So you have to go with the one by one again, all the concepts revision. That calendar also I will provide you. Based on that calendar, so you have to spend 1.5 months again after this course. 100% undoubtedly, if you spend that time, undoubtedly you will get the job here. This is complete overview of full stack development, MERN stack.